Yo, what's good? It's your boy B-Dell. I am back with a prophetic divination. If you're new to this channel, hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. But today I'm going to be breaking down the Anunnaki and the cosmic clock and how when light breaks into a dimension, it reverses the polarity of time because time is not acclimated to the supreme mathematics and the sacred geometry of the universe that's connected to the Fibonacci sequence of nature. So that's why animals are part of the ecological system are walking in the vortex circle. That's because they're being galvanized by tetrahedron energy. Tetra is the personification of four. Four connects you to the fourth dimension, which is the ethereal plane, the mental plane that connects you to the space-time continuum. So it's 100 seconds to midnight on the cosmic clock because midnight is a precursor to the awakening at dawn. Now, when you go to the Egyptian Book of the Dead and you break down the etymology of the word Osiris, it means to be awakened at dawn. Now, that's connected to ancient Proto-Semitic languages, that's connected to the alphabetical symmetry of light, because that tetrahedron octave frequency creates geometrical shapes, which is the personification of a square. Now, a square is an amalgamation of 490-degree angles that equates to 360 degrees of knowledge. So the knowledge that you stream down from the fourth dimension, when you get these downloads, you entrap that knowledge and that energy inside of a square and you upload it into the neurological interface, and it gives an activation to the neurotransmitters. Neurotransmitters create more neurons. Neurons create dendrites, and the dendrites ties the frequency of the soul and the mind together to where you can use your brain at a 90% capacity. So this is how you tap into the energetic imprint of the universe when you're talking about the personification of a Christ consciousness by tapping into the spirit of Melchizedek, right? So this is why everything on the planet is waking up. This is why the children are waking up. This is why, everything in nature is waking up. This is why the animals are waking up, because it's the end of the 6,000-year purification period of the beast and his system, right? Because when you understand astrology and cosmology at the same time, as you have Pluto entering Aquarius, you have the Saturnian energy copulating with Pisces, right? Because the Piscean age was galvanized by the silver key, which is the lunar cycle, right? That was galvanized by the Saturnian energy. The Saturn moon matrix was conducive to the Piscean age. So as you have Pluto entering Aquarius, that is the energy that's going to decimate everything in the three-dimensional paradigm. So it's 100 seconds to midnight because time is basically up. So let me get my screen share going because I'm going to be showing you some illustrations, right? So now, when you look at the animals, everything a part of the ecological system, even, from the insects to the cows and everything, there's an energy. You know what I'm saying? There's an energy that's taking place because everything is being galvanized by the fourth dimensional plane. Everything in the fourth dimension is a certain energy that connects everything on the planet through atomic fusion, right? So I'm gonna show you some more. And the reason all this stuff is happening is because the ethers, is basically made up of an amalgamation of charged particles, right? That sends electrons to the body and it activates the God mind. And the God mind is the God particle that is created through a neuroendocrine transducer, right? And the neuroendocrine transducer is activated by a piezoelectric frequency that connects you to the fourth dimensional plane. When you're talking about the 144,000 crystals in your mind, when I told you about the magnetites and the dendrites, right? So everything, that's connected to nature, like the closest thing to the Most High, who is Anu, L, the closest thing to the Most High are animals in nature and children, right? So that's why everything on the planet is starting to wake up. Some of you are getting smarter. Some of you are becoming a lot more enlightened. A lot of you are able to galvanize a lot of information and retain the information at a higher frequency. That's because the planet is terraforming back into its original state. I'm going to show you some more things that's going down in the ecological system when you're talking about these animals. If you have a Schumann resonance spike, which means that the sun is at solar maximum, so the sun is activating everything that's connected to the planet, right? Because everything through atomic fusion, everything on the planet is made up of atoms in our atmosphere. And those charged particles sends the electrical charge to the body, and it wakes you up and puts you in a state of alignment to where you're in alignment with the universe. You are in alignment with the source, right? So when you're talking about alignment, that means you're in alignment with the spiritual heart, which is the atoms within you, because you are part of the creator. So now when you look at these children, right? These children are starting to wake up. They starting to have a lot of prophetic dreams. You know what I'm saying?
Friend told me that he's not really a human. He was sent to Earth. God sent him down here to stop the invasion that's coming. And he said when he turns how old? When he turns 4, the invasion is supposed to start. And my son is 4. Where did you come from?
The baby store.
The
Right next to heaven.
You know, I got so many receipts to show you that everything is connected to prophecy, right? All these things must come to pass. So that's why it's imperative for you to understand that in order to know that everything is starting to change, you got to pay attention to children. You got to pay attention to nature. Everything on the planet is starting to wake up because it's being galvanized by a DNA mutation, right? So I'm going to show you some more.
Mom had took him out, and then we was running, and they had no places to go because we was like in this clear. It looks like a clear box we on, and we couldn't go nowhere. But only the people in helicopters. They only have 4 helicopters trying to look for us, and then they tried to shoot us with bombs and guns with that. And it's like they're not people, but they look like alien people.
You heard what she said? She said they look like alien people. So a lot of these kids, a lot of these children who are connected to the Most High, you know what I'm saying? They having a lot of these prophetic dreams. And this is not, you know, by accident. There's many different kids all over the planet, you know, having these prophetic, you know, dreams and things of that nature for what is to come to pass. Because what she's dreaming about, she is talking about a draconian invasion. And that's the same thing that Phil Schneider said when he was talking about the agenda 2029 agenda, right? When he was talking about the planet being invaded by draconians.
They shoot us, and then it was like they're not people, but they look like alien people, and they're trying to shoot us, and then they was running too fast, and some of them had exploded on accident because the people that tried to kill him, some of them had died, but the alien people had killed the alien people on accident. So I really don't remember some of it, but I think all of us was alive, except for Cheyenne.
So like I said, man, and now I'm going to show you, because there's one more child I got to show you, but I'm going to go to this video here to connect the dots with everything. So for those of you who are stuck in the confines of Eurocentric information, this is why they got to put everything in the public domain. Everything, you know what I'm saying, is working in synergy right now. So that's why they got to give it to you in a form of full disclosure, but they're giving you the full disclosure in increments.
Aliens exist and President Trump knows about it. That's according to Israel's former space security chief. In an interview with an Israeli newspaper, he said the aliens have been waiting until today for humanity to develop and reach a stage where we will understand in general what space and spaceships are. NBC News chief global correspondent Bill Neely explains this one.
Hi, Alison. Well, this is quite a story, and it comes from the man who headed Israel's space security program for nearly 30 years. Chaim Eshed is making the extraordinary claim that the United States and Israel have been in contact with a group of aliens for years, not immigrants, but extraterrestrials. He has called them the Galactic Federation of Aliens. And he
So
said,
when he's talking about the Galactic Federation, he is basically talking about the Anunnaki, right? And these Anunnaki beings are your so-called melanated guys that come from a different star system, the 19th galaxy or the city of Elohim. And we're going to get into the mothership in the Crystal City. As I was talking, you got to look at the last video I put out when I was talking about UFOs and the mothership. You got to look at that video.
President Trump is aware of the existence of these aliens and had been on the verge of revealing their secrets, he claims, but was asked not to do so by the Federation in order to prevent what he calls mass hysteria. Well, the retired general says the US and Israel have kept it from the public because, quotes, humanity isn't ready and the aliens don't want to reveal themselves until humanity can evolve, he says, and understand what space really is. Well, the good news is that he claims an agreement has been reached between the US government and the aliens, a contract to do experiments here. There's also, he says, a secret underground base on Mars where there are American and alien representatives. Now, this former head of a branch of Israel's defense ministry is 87. He was very well respected, at least until now. And he said all this in an interview with an Israeli newspaper in Hebrew, but it's really taken off after parts of it were published in English by the Jerusalem Post today. He says he's come forward now in the hope that his news will be accepted as true. He notes that if he'd made these claims 5 years ago, he would have been hospitalized, but now he says, I've got nothing to lose. Well, so far, President Trump has not tweeted about this, though remember a year ago, he did set up the Space Force as the fifth branch of the US Armed Forces.
Now, when you look at that symbol, I told you that's the vector vortex program that is galvanized by the Pleiadians, right? Because that's a Pleiadian symbol. So the space program is basically an amalgamation of Greys, Reptilians, and Draconians. So those are basically your majestic 12 or the on the moon base 12 on the dark side of the moon who controls the matrix system. I already explained that in a different video. But you know what I'm saying? Everything has to come to pass. And here's another child who had another prophetic dream that took place.
My awakened son telling me about the spiritual war happening right now.
The devil angels.
Yeah, he killed 2 of his devil angels.
Were they always devil angels, or were they first just angels and then they became devil angels?
They're first angels and then became devil angels. Because they didn't want to prepare to sing and lots of God say, sing, sing. What is bossing them around? And God was so angry because God starts, he's winning the war. Since before we were born, he was still here.
Before we were born, he was still here.
Yeah, he was fighting war before we were born. He was winning all these fights.
Mhm.
Now this fight, he's gonna win again.
He's gonna win this fight again.
Yeah, there'll be no more war next year in December.
And after this fight, is there no more war after this?
Yes. There are no more repair. Then the shiny diamond will be up to the sky. It won't visit ever again. It'll just visit.
Now, as he said, a shiny diamond, he is talking about the Crystal City, and I'm going to show you some biblical context that coincides with everything that he's saying.
There's the sun.
Yes.
The end of December.
And after this fight, is there no more war after this?
Yes. There are no more repair. Then the shiny diamond will be up to the sky. It won't visit ever again. It'll just visit you as the sun.
As the sun.
Yes. So the shining diamond on next December. So you have to wait. Be brave because it's gonna come and crack the house.
Oh,
It's gonna come. It's gonna land down. There's going to be a big red light.
mm-hmm.
At night there's gonna be a big red light. You can see, a star going fast. Then it
See, this is, you know what I'm saying? It's crazy how this kid is probably like 5 or 6 years old, and you got a lot of idiots who are still stuck in monotheistic religion. And it takes children in order to galvanize the truth and put it in the public domain so people can see what the hell is going on. But that's crazy to me. But I'm gonna keep playing the video.
Big red light. You can see, a star going fast. Then it popped. Then you're gonna see the red light. Then in the morning, You see the big shiny diamond. It's like meteor. It's like almost the size of meteor.
A meteor.
It's gonna happen in it's gonna happen in Nova Beach. No, it's gonna happen in Durban. Not here. There's somewhere in a place in Durban. And it's called. Boop. It's gonna break the road.
Oh,
It's gonna break the road.
Yeah, that's crazy. Now I'm gonna go to everything that coincides with what he was saying when he was talking about the mothership, what is the Crystal City or Planet Nibiru, right? These are basically different nomenclature titles of what he's talking about when you talk about the Crystal City. So now when you go to some biblical context, when you go to Revelations 21, chapter 11, and when you go to Revelations 18 and 20, it says verbatim, the glory of God and its brilliance like that very precious jewel, like a jasper, clear as crystal. And the wall was made of jasper, and the city was pure gold and pure glass. The foundation of the city crystals were decorated with every kind of precious stone. The first foundation was jasper, the second sapphire, the third chaldoni, and the fourth was emerald, and the fifth was, I don't know what that word is, and the seventh was chrysolite, and the eighth was beryl, and the ninth was topaz, and the 10th was cryosphase, and the 11th was jacinth, and the 12th was amethyst. So this is the crystal city he's talking about. This is the crystal of the mothership, because everything is based on, aerodynamics, because they're coming from a different, star system, which has a hydrogen-based atmosphere. So that's why it's amalgamated with so many crystals, right? So there's another, let's see. But yeah, it talks about the crystal city in the Bible. Yeah, it says, it's basically talking about the portions of God's glorious heavenly city, the crystal city, New Jerusalem, will be constructed from a crystal. So that's what the young boy was talking about in that video, right? So that's why, they trying to leave this planet, but they stuck on this planet. The 6,000 year purification period of the beast in its system is up. And I'm going to be showing you a video. They trying to penetrate the firmament. They trying to leave this planet, but they stuck on this planet because you have Anunnaki shams outside the galaxy to where they cannot leave this planet. They are stuck on this planet because they got to face galactic judgment for all the desolation that they caused on the planet. I'm gonna show you. This is a lot of those things that you see that look like chemtrails, but they just kind of stay stuck in the sky. They are trying to find many different mechanisms to, penetrate the dome because they're trying to leave the planet to escape judgment. Oh. They cannot leave. They stuck on this planet. They are stuck on this realm. So like I said, they got to face that galactic judgment for all the desolation, calamity, economic disenfranchisement, dehumanization, all these things that they did to the original people. They got to face that galactic judgment, right? So with the reality of UFOs, you're going to start seeing a lot of things in our sky. When that open vortex opens up during the spring equinox in 2023, you're going to see so many things that's going to be happening in our atmosphere. So this is why it's imperative for you to come to terms with the real knowledge and deviate from religion, because religion is going to put you in a state of mental subjugation so much to the point where you don't have the spiritual fortitude to see what's going on. So when a lot of things starts to come to pass that was passed off as conspiracy, a lot of people ain't gonna know how to handle it because they've been lied to. That's because I told you the Piscean energy copulating with the Saturnian energy, that represents the material world. So during that time, you're gonna have a lot of people walking away from jobs, walking away from religion, because everything is, working in synergy with divine retribution. Now look at that. Like I said, now they're going to dematerialize in the atmosphere because they're able to go into two modes. But I don't want to say the names of the modes because they're kind of conducive to everything that's part of the system. So I don't want them to flag my page for it. But they go into two modes which are conducive to their atmosphere because they got their own gravitational field basically. So watch, they're going to disappear and dematerialize. Disappearing. So like I said, those are not angels, those are shams. Those are shams that come to this planet, like he said, the lady said in that publication when she was on NBC. The shams are able to dematerialize and they come to this planet for experimentation purposes. So like I said, now when you get into the dynamics of what's going on, you're talking about DNA mutation, right? So as you have this tribulation that's taking place on the planet, which is what your so-called personification of a judgment, it says verbatim that judgment is not an event, God passing judgment on good and evil. It's casting the evildoers into hell, selected fit or ascension to heaven, new heaven and new earth, Revelation chapter 21, verse 1. Now the judgment is an event of natural physics laws that takes place when the internal electromagnetic battle between the crystal seed of Adam and the Merkabah light ship. So when you're talking about crystals, you are talking about crystallization as you have the carbon body crystallizes and transmutates over into a crystalline state, right? So now I'm going to show you something because these prophetic events is based on DNA mutation. So that's why the activation of the 144,000 crystals in your body. What do crystals do? They absorb energy, whether it's a positive energy or a negative energy. So now I'm going to show you this video. There's going to be a kid. He's going to get hit with I guess a taser, but it's not going to, it's not going to phase him. It's not going to compromise him. So like I said, as the planet is going through a metamorphic shift, so is the body. Because like I said, crystals is what absorbs energy. You see what I'm saying? Crystal absorbs energy because the melanocytes in the body has the ability to absorb energy because it's made up of atoms through atomic fusion. Charged particles, electrons, right? So like I said, this is the trial period where the end of the crystal seed atom is in a state of reset, right? So since it's in a state of being in a reset, like I said, that creates a DNA mutation when you're talking about these environmental anomalies that's taking place. So this is where, you have the black hole when you're going through a metamorphic shift. You're going to a different space and time that activates the Bathari gland that's connected to your metaphysical genes, right? So now, yeah, that energy is also conducive to the seventh heavens or the seven planes of existence. So when you got the material plane, because the seven heavens, when you're talking about the 19th galaxy, when they said heavens and the Orions and stuff, you got seven different layers of planes on this planet. So you got the material plane, you got the spiritual plane, then you got the plane of force, then you got the mental plane, which is the fourth dimension, the ethers, then you got the plane of divine reality, then you got the plane of divine truth, and you got the plane of the bosom of Elion Elion or Anu, which is the Most High God. When you at the root chakra of the heavens, that's acclimated to the seventh seal on the planet. Right now, we at the sixth seal because we in the sixth plane of existence. We're going into it, right? So that's divine reality. So when you're going through the 7-year tribulation period from 2023 to 2030, this is where you're going to get divine reality. Because right now we just came out of the plane of divine truth. They've been giving you the truth all throughout, public media. They've been giving it to you. So now the reality is when you encounter these things that people passed off as a conspiracy, right? So when you look at it from that aspect, this is when you go to, like I told you, the Saturnian energy in the last 6,000 years of the moon cycle. The last 6,000 years was galvanized by the Piscean age under the silver key, which is a lunar light lock energy that puts the body in a state of cryogenics, cryostasis. So when the body's in a state of cryogenics, that means that you've been galvanized and subjected to the illusion of the planet of the Saturn moon matrix, but the plutonium energy of Aquarius is going to put everything back into balance. So that's why it says that the moon is a symbol of the night and the shadow hour, and the sun cycle is a symbol of the day. We're moving into the sun cycle as the galaxy makes a wobbly circle around the sun called the equinox, right? The planet Earth gets closer and farther from the sun at different times. It's an emotion due to the elliptical orbit, because during the inception of the first 6,000 years, the planet got knocked off its axis when the mothership came back to this planet. That's why the planet is off balance, because it's at a 23.5-degree tilt. So during the times that the sun pulls the planet closer to Earth, periods referred to as the solar era, the Earth gets closer, gets further from the sun, and the moon cycle is synonymous to the shadow hour or the night, and the sun is synonymous to the daylight hours. This happens every 6,000 years. We're getting ready to come back into the sun cycle, which we're in right now. And it says, with the opening of the seventh seal, we have left of the Piscean age. It's the end of the Piscean age. It's the end of the 6,000 year purification period, because now when you go to the transliteration of the book of Revelations, that's broken down into the Assyric language and the Greek transliteration, it says verbatim, right, in Revelations 12:3 of El's Holy Angel, that he will not be able to live under the sun. And that's the reason so many are getting melanoma in the skin and the cancer in the rays, because he has knowledge that little remains from him. The evil one, Halal Shakar, was granted respite until the end of time, so he is proved to his unworthiness of the Most High, the power to rule over humanity for 6,000 years, starting with the birth of Canaan, the Canaanites. That is the cursed bloodline that was cursed with leprosy. When you're talking about the Jebusites, or the people who control the planet, the people that Kanye was talking about, right? I don't want to say the name because I don't want to get flagged for my page. But you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the Uz, right? The Jebusites that's connected to the Canaanite bloodline, which is the physical manifestation of the devil, high Satan, Shaitan, that occurred in 4004 BC, because that's when they was grafted and amalgamated with the Flugelords in 4086 BC, plus the 2000 year AD, which is a point we also have reached, meaning that the reign is basically up. The devil's reign is basically ended, the end of the 6,000 year purification period. So that's why all this stuff is happening. My nose itching. So this is why everything is taking place, right? Everything is taking place. So now when you get into the non-ether aspect of it, because like I said, everything is connected to the fourth dimension and the higher dimensions through atomic fusion, because your ether is connected to the space-time continuum, right? So now when you go to, it says, since evolution is starting to reverse, right, the ghost man, or the so-called European, is returning back into its original state, because they're not natural to the planet, and they came to the atmosphere, to the present cycle, will basically The present cycle will continue to grow stronger and making us wiser, the non-ether genetical properties, right? Because that non-ether, why is it like that? Let me see. Yeah, the non-ether, you know what I'm saying, is being increased by the atomic fusion of the sun, right? So this is how you get away from mental death when you're talking about ignorance, because everything on the planet is starting to activate everything that's connected to the planet. And then when you have a people who's not connected to the planet, you know, they don't have the genetical ability to ascend with the planet. You know, they're basically going to dematerialize. Like I forgot that guy's name. His name is Hawkins. He was a genius, but he tried to use too much of his brain power, but his body wasn't acclimated to that neurological chemistry, and he basically shriveled up. So the same thing is going to happen to people who are not connected to the planet, because their genetics is not conducive to the planet. So now it says might have to go to a different publication. Yeah, here we go. And it says the sun is male and Mother Earth is female. The sun gives off ether in the form of what is called prominences. The sun is an antenna called granulation, and in the hair of so-called black people, which is granulation, are basically antennas that connect you to the Fibonacci sequence of nature. So this is why a lot of you just all of a sudden having this great awakening, and that great awakening is going to cause a great separation. It's going to separate you from people. It's going to separate you from everything that's caused any type of desolation and calamity in your life, as far as like religion or anything like pseudoscience or anything that's conducive to the fallacies of Eurocentric history. So it says that the woolly hair is correctly called granulation, and it puts the straight strand of hair closer to fire, and the strand of hair is able to basically dematerialize. So so now your ether is also in a state of evolution because it's conducive to sun heat genes, right? That live on the earth in its original atmosphere. Its original atmosphere is a hydrogen-based atmosphere, because when you compile that with the carbon body, that creates nitrogen. It sparks the soul of man, the Holy Ghost particles, the solar transmissions that hits the epidermis layer of your skin, which is vitality Amun Ra. Ra is the sun, right? And you get an activation to the body. Okay, I think that was it that I had to show you on that. So now, you know, with that being said, this is, you know, this video I'm gonna show you, this is an old it's a Nike commercial that came out maybe last year or this year. This is kind of like what's going to take place in the future, you know what I'm saying? Like everything is basically this video is basically an amalgamation of everything that I just said, putting in one perspective, because they have to give you the truth, whether it be through a commercial, whether it be through the news, whether it be through a movie. You know, they got to put the truth in public domain, because if they don't, they be breaking cosmic and galactic law. So they got to give you the truth, they give you the truth in a form of entertainment, to where you pass it off as a conspiracy.
Storm, zombie epidemic, alien encounters continue unabated. Safe to say, this is the best dream ever. Braves, what you doing? Who's the real thing? Wearing the new icon clash. I think it was so. I think that's at 16. Okay. Well, that's not bad. Hell yeah.
So that's some of the stuff that's going to take place, man. Like that's what's part of the what everything's going to play. This is the end of the cosmic clock. Their time is up. It's 100 seconds to midnight, and the reason they say it's 100 seconds to midnight, I forgot to show you. Let me see. Yeah, it's the doomsday clock because they know their time is up. But I also heard it's 2 seconds till midnight. Well, it's 100 seconds till midnight. When you look at this cosmic clock here, you want to pull it up. Well, pull up. Well, you can pretty much see it here. If you look closely, it says it's 100 seconds to midnight. This is called the doomsday clock. Because like I said, they know their time is up. You know what I'm saying? Their time been up. So that's why everything that, coincides with everything that they're trying to do on this planet, they trying to deviate from that situation. Because they know that the pantheon of galactic gods is coming back to the planet to restore the balance, to restore the frequency, right? So with that being said, get this video out there. I appreciate you guys watching. So like I said, it's imperative to understand what time we're living in because this is not a time to be, looking at things from a cynical perspective. It's a time to, look at things as a form of to galvanize your resources and to get with people in case certain things happen on this planet, because we entering a stage, a great tribulation period from 2023 to 2030, because like I said, it's the end of the 6,000 year purification period on this planet for the people who's basically caused so much to the planet. But nature in itself has to fight back. That's why you're seeing all the signs. That's why everybody is waking up. So with that being said, it's time to wake up. It's time to, to raise up your vibrational frequency, get your knowledge up, and get some type of clarity about what's going on. Thanks for watching. End the transmission.